Well, boys, it looks like Sony's doubling down on anybody owning anything physical nowadays. They don't want you owning your media, your discs, and now they don't even want you to own the buttons on your controller. Yes, Sony has filed a new patent that showcases a controller with no physical buttons. The controller would feature digital buttons that let users pick which buttons are located where. Now they this is a legit patent. I've actually went through and jumped on to Google Patents. So here's the Google patent. If you guys want to look it up, patents.google.com. The patent is US 1253357 3B2. And it's called Devices and Methods for a Gaming Controller. Device and process configurations are provided for the game controllers. A game controller can include the input control sensor having an input surface that at least one optical sensor to detect input to the input surface. The game controller can also include controller coupled to the input control sensor and receive game controller input. Identify at least one input command, output a control signal. Input control sensors allow for input based on one or more of the touchpad, swipe, press, or pinch joystick inputs to one of the more surfaces of the controllers. Input can include a pre-touch relative to the input surface and pre-touch including input, approaching the input surface, and input prior to engage it with the surface. The game controller can present at least one reference point, and input controller, including the illumination and the use of a touchscreen to detect one or more of heat pressure. Now, I've been a gamer for a really long time. I was a console gamer for most of the 90s and most of the 2000s up until 2017 when I switched to PC. And then from there on, I was using I've been using a PC for about 7, 8 years now. And through that time, I've honed in my skills on keyboard. And I would use a controller kind of for some games and a keyboard and mouse for other games. And then I finally went all in on the keyboard and mouse, aside from like random games like Skate and like games that you would normally use a controller for. And just to have those physical buttons underneath your hands, it feels nice, right? I don't think I could ever see myself using something where there was no physical feel of a button being pushed down. If they went all in on this digital controller pad and didn't give the choice of having an actual physical button to press, I really couldn't see gamers being too happy about it, considering what we've been seeing with their physical discs. Now here's the patent. We've got a bunch of touch pads on the sides here. And from what I understand, the joysticks will still be there. So I mean, essentially, you still need the joysticks, right? But the touch areas on the pad on the right hand side, and apparently you can use settings to actually move the buttons to where you want them to go and where you need them to go. So here's essentially what the controller kind of like. This is like a artist adaptation of like what it would actually look like. And apparently, like you can move the buttons around to like where you want them. And I think also the back triggers like maybe would be also digital, which really wouldn't sit well with me, I don't think, honestly. It seems like something that is going to flop, but I mean, you never know in the future nowadays. Like there's a lot of gamers that would just completely adapt to this. Let's see what user Young Ye has to say about this.
So let me get this straight. You first take away physical discs, and now you're patenting something that might take away physical buttons. What is this allergy to physical? And this is something that has been met with such mockery and derision, especially with the timing of all of this coming right after Sony and PlayStation killed physical discs, which many are seeing as a massive detriment to the medium. And now the removal of physical buttons being patented is just like this is something you cannot make up. Now, obviously, just because something is a patent doesn't mean that it will become reality per se, but the fact that they have the idea at all is frankly ridiculous.
There's a big population of people mocking the hell out of Sony for getting rid of buttons on a controller, get rid of physical discs. Now we're wondering what's next, really. Like, if they're going this route for our physical media and even the buttons on a controller, what's to say they just don't even have a console at all? You're just gaming from a cloud. You have like a tiny little USB that you just plug in. and that's your console. Everything just comes from the cloud. You get all your digital content, and you just inject yourself right into the system and just have a heyday. Moving into Sony doubling down on physical discs, Sony has said it won't change its mind on killing physical discs in 2028 while acknowledging strong views from from the video game community. So we're seeing people left and right in the comment sections across every platform. Across every platform, I could even bring up Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. This isn't just on the X sphere. This is across the whole internet. I mean, there's people on the other side ready to bow down to this corporate greed. Like, you got one side of the situation and you got the other. People ready to bow down to corporate interest, and then people that are ready to stand up against it. It seems more people are pushing back against this. Truly, I think we're really going to see numbers show in the next console wars. So essentially, there's rumors out there that Microsoft is very much going to continue disc support, while also we do see IGN reporting on Xbox is also abandoning physical media with the next console.
One thing I'd heard from a couple sort of sources, and this is just kind of like, potential rumory stuff, but at least before the current Xbox reset, I don't know where it is now. It sounds like Microsoft was actually very much going to continue disc support, not because they valued retail disc sales, but because they wanted to like ensure that all your Xbox games were still playable on new Xboxes. And it's like, oh, we could offer maybe like an external drive or basically some means. And I think that might all tie into this disc to digital stuff as well. But I get this feeling that they actually, especially given their reaction, I'm not saying that they're going to solve problems or anything drastic going to change, but I do see a future where Microsoft actually supports discs going forward for users that want to take their library with them, while Sony just completely cuts people off.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
gonna make an interesting. I think it's gonna make a really interesting console war. Probably one of the best ones yet, considering the fact that you're gonna have one console that has no disk drive, not offering any physical media, and then another console offering full physical media and full capability inside of their device. It's going to be definitely interesting, man. I'm curious to see how this plays out. I am myself, I'm on the side of the physical owners. Like, really, like, I love my digital downloads, man. Like, I'm a Steam user, I'm a PC user. I move around a lot. I don't want extra baggage on me when I'm moving around. I'm like 3,500 kilometers away from my hometown. Like, so everything I've owned since Xbox One has been straight up digital. And you know what? You can call me a part of the problem. It doesn't really matter to me. That's just how Steam is, right? That's how PC users move. I am all for standing next to my gaming brethren and standing up for their consumer choice in the gaming market to want physical discs. There's so many people out there that still want it. There's a market that still wants it, and you can tell from the outrage. The fact that PlayStation is doubling down on their corporate greed and control over what you own is actually crazy. Yeah, so Sony says it understands fans have strong views over ending PlayStation game discs. The company is still moving ahead with switching to digital from 2028. Sony has addressed the backlash against the decision to stop releasing new PlayStation games on physical discs from 2028. It says it understands why fans have its strong views, but will continue moving forward. The company first announced in early July the new PlayStation titles will no longer be available on disc starting in 2028, prompting criticism from players who prefer physical media. Speaking during Sony's latest earning calls on July 31st, so it actually took them a month to like figure out like, oh shit, we need to like address this, because they at first they were like making posts on their profiles, business as usual, just straight up continue to post about new hardware, new games, new events coming, and literally silence. It was just straight up crickets from them. I mean, essentially, digitalization is progressing, but forcing obsolescence into a market where there's still people that want to consume physical media and physical discs it's still there, right? They're forcing this on people because of their greed and control that they want over the market, right? There's still cassette tapes, there's still records, there's still CDs, there's still Blu-rays, DVDs, there's still all those things. And these other companies haven't forced this on to their consumers, right? And this isn't sitting well with people at all. This doesn't sit. I'm not even a PlayStation user, and this doesn't sit well with me at all. You're telling me that you want me to bend over backwards to a morally inept corporation and just take this at face value and continue to have this happen in the industry and make it the norm? Like I said, I'm a digital owner, but this is wrong on so many fronts. Any company that I have been consuming from or been buying from were to do this to me, I would ditch that company so fast it would make their head spin. They don't give a shit. The best thing to do now is make sure you champion for digital ownership laws or less DRM at this point, or just start pirating since everything is a rental nowadays. It's licensing, right? When you download digital, you don't physically own it. So you technically really don't own it. You just license it to play it, right? You own it on your computer, but it just doesn't feel like an actual ownership. And I know that because I'm a digital, like I said, I'm a digital owner. It doesn't feel like I actually own my stuff. It's just literally just on a hard drive. You know, he said that we should probably champion for digital ownership laws, which is pretty much straight facts. If we're going to have to, if these corporations are pushing us towards digital ownership, we need some kind of token that shows us that we actually own this product. Because it really does. When you're a digital owner, it doesn't feel like you actually own it. It just feels like you're renting the game and then you can just download it again when you want to play it again. So I get where Mudahar is coming from. And Mudahar, he speaks facts in his videos, man. Sony CFO responds to backlash over ending physical discs for PlayStation. At this point in time, we're not seeing any impact on our business as of now. A large part is already digitized, therefore, as the result, discontinuation to discs. We don't see that there will be any negative impact on our business. Yeah, any negative impact on your business, except it's greedy, it's controlling, and it literally just screams that these people don't give a shit about their consumers. They only care about appeasing to their investors. So going back to what I was talking about, cloud hardware and them eventually, I could see the market pushing towards no console at all. You literally don't own anything. You don't own the discs, you don't own a hardware. The $500 console is dead. Even after the RAM crisis ends, the era of affordable gaming hardware is gone for good. After this all passes, all these data farms, they've got all their hardware, they have everything they need. None of these companies are going to push their prices back down, because why would they? If people are going to pay for these items at the increased rate that they're at, why would they do that? It's crazy to see society go in this direction. You're seeing it with rental prices, you're seeing it with grocery prices, you're seeing it with everything. Corporate greed right now is pushing to levels that we've never ever seen before. And in the future, a lot of people aren't even going to be able to actually buy hardware to play games. It's going to be so expensive, it's going to be out of the reach of lower class people. I'm not joking. We need to make the PS6 flop. A business that doesn't care about what its customers want deserves to fail. I'm right there with this person. A company that shits on their customers completely deserves to flop. In any way, shape, or form that we can fight back against what is happening with this situation, we need to do it, and we need to do it now. Because if they step, they're going to stomp us into the ground until we have no choice but to consume the things that they're giving us.
So PS5 ending disc production. The second question. So on this point, so we announced that January 2028 onwards, we will no longer be manufacturing game discs. So 1.5 years ahead. So we made this announcement at this time. There are various reasons we made this decision, the biggest being that digitalization of contents overall has been progressing. That's the big factor. It's not just for PlayStation, but for all kinds of contents, digitalization is progressing. And so when we think about the future, we put in a lot of thought and time, and we cautiously considered this, and we came.
Did you though? Did you put in a lot of thought and time for this? Did you like were you in the boardroom and you were like, I wonder what people are going to think about being immoral to our customers. I wonder what we're going to look like if we go the corporate greed and corporate control route. How is this going to sit with people who consume our product?
Came to this conclusion, and we're going to cautiously move this forward.
Cautiously. If you heard her correct right there, she said they're going to move cautiously forward. So this means we still have hope to figure this out and protest against this level of greed. These people are so out of touch with their consumer base, it's ridiculous.
We have received various opinions. People have strong views, and we understand that the community has put forth those views to us. Games.
Yeah, the communities put those views towards us, and we don't give a shit. That's pretty much what they're saying. We're gonna be greedy, and we don't give a shit about our consumer. That's exactly what they're saying.
Are loved by many people. It's a form of entertainment that's loved by people, and it's connected to people's fond memories in many cases. And so we understand those emotions. We want to.
I know I keep pausing the video, but like, if you understand these emotions, then why would you go ahead and do this? These are like beloved. You've created a beloved product to other people that live and die by gaming. We're gamers, bro. Like, we live for this shit.
Consider that, and in the future digital ecosystem, how do we engage the gamers is something that we would like to continue to explore. Thank you very much.
It's not looking too good for physical owners. I'm a digital owner, so this doesn't really affect me. It definitely grinds my gears, so I'm right here with you guys. If you guys want to support this cause, get out there, let your voice be heard, even if you're not a physical owner. If you're just a digital owner and this move like morally grinds your gears, like, get out there and help your fellow brethren in the gaming sphere and help build a future of gaming that we want to see. We should have choice. They shouldn't be able to force us into obsolescence. I love y'all. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe if you're new here. That's it. We'll see you guys in a bit.